Hey everybody, welcome to Press Pause, the video game discussion show. I'm Carl Sodella. This is...
Oh.
I switched it, see?
You caught me off guard.
I'm
Shu. How's it going?
You're like, I don't know who I am. Because I'm always like, I'm your host. And like, also, Dan. I'm like, we're hosts together.
I could say my own name, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're like, I guess so. Today on the show, we're going to talk about events. We go to a lot of tech events here in San Francisco. Tech events, video game events, and we've been to a couple recently, and we thought we'd share with you what we saw there and drank there, maybe. Mm-hmm. There's sometimes libations. The first one we're going to talk about is Professor Layton and the Last Spectre with an ER, which we'll get into that later.
Yeah, it was kind of a cool idea. They did this at an English pub, you know, because Professor Layton's Brit, and they did it kind of pub trivia style.
Yeah.
But instead of doing, I wasn't sure what that meant. Like, are they going to do real trivia? And you have teams and answer them. But what they actually did was they had it really organized where each table and each team had their own DS, and then they would pick the puzzle for you and figure out what, they did the easy ones at first. We had some confidence.
I thought we were going to be awesome. We were on a team together, by the way, obviously.
Yeah. We were actually on Team Professor Layton. So we got the #1 character too.
Well, that's true, but we also got to name our teams, and we named our team the effing Spectres with RE, because it's spelled with ER. But we didn't say effing, we said the real word.
We said the real word.
And they couldn't say it the whole
It's funny
night.
because I was telling our team, I'm like, Nintendo, first of all, they're never going to repeat this name. It's a professional, family-friendly company.
Yep.
They're never going to read our team name out loud in this party. And I'm like, if we happen to win, they're going to kind of hide it.
they're just
going to not acknowledge it.
I wish we would have won. They'd be like, nah, someone won. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
We were on the team with the guys from
Electric Playground. And Destructoid.
And Destructoid Writer.
Yeah.
So anyways, we did okay. We didn't like...
We got like the first 4 in a row.
Yeah, we just nailed them.
And one of the first teams to answer each one too.
Yep, I think.
And then we got to the medium level.
Was it the medium? Can we just say it was the difficult level?
It was medium difficulty where we started to run into some snags, and then after that it was just like we didn't answer any.
No, it's like calculus and algebra together. I didn't get it at all.
Yeah.
But it was fun, and like we were talking about earlier, this is what we want to see out of Nintendo. Like, these are cool events, It's not just come play the game and that's it, and here's a bunch of drinks, and most people just drink. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, you're involved in this thing, and and you're part of a team. You have to do this, and you have to experience the game.
Totally agree. Most events, I kind of tell PR people this when they're willing to listen. It's their event. They don't, what do they care what I think? But a lot of times you're right. Like, you go to these parties and they have these stations, and you just like you're drinking, you're socializing, and it's like, maybe I'll just stop by and check this out or whatever.
Yeah.
But
it's an afterthought.
It was cool because we were all involved, and everyone in the room was playing the game, and we're all solving the puzzles, and they're like, they're all watching you. They're like, no hints. We'll know if you're using hints.
Yeah.
And then it got competitive. You're trying to beat these other teams, and
who won again? What was the team that won?
Damn, I don't know the full team, but I know
it was Kohler.
Chris Kohler from Wired.com.
He's a smart video game nerd.
He's always winning these things.
He just knows too much. It doesn't even matter, like you said though. It's just more about the engagement. It's not.
It does matter. We didn't win the trophy.
We didn't win the trophy.
There's like
they
a little
wouldn't even say their name anyhow.
Yeah.
Here's our thing from the thing. Oh, that doesn't say Spectres. Am I zooming? I think I am. So that was cool. And also Brian Bishop was there from Scam School doing weird, crazy fire tricks.
Magic tricks that he was the host. He
was a host, and he did some crazy things with a nail that went in his eye. It was really gross. But he taught us one. And I was telling you before the show, sorry. I was telling you before the show, I tried it when I got home, because we did it at the place. It was with this match idea, and we'll show you. Maybe... Should we shoot like us doing it after?
We're probably gonna mess it up because we're not as smooth as.
It was a really cool thing that he showed us, and we did it at the event. And then I went home and tried to show people, and I was like, no, I just failed. So, cool. So that's a really cool thing. And also, I want to say before we leave the event idea, A, the drinks were great. All the British ales they had were awesome. And B, I'm playing Professor Layton and the Last Spectre. And as we mentioned on the Press Pause Daily, which you haven't seen it, go here and look at the Press Pause Daily. We mentioned all like the newest stories, and one of them was that there's an RPG in The Last Spectre.
Yeah, so I didn't even know this.
This is separate from the actual game. The actual game is, point and click kind of adventure, and the puzzles that we had problems with. And the other one is literally, it's just this little thing at the bottom. It says London Life, and I was like, oh, that just must be an add-on. But you click it, and it's literally like Earthbound. It's like a little game where you get a house. It's Animal Crossing and Earthbound and Professor Layton put together. You get a house, you have like little furniture, you can go to the shopping mall, buy clothing. And what's weird is the whole game is to make people happy. You just have to do missions to make everybody happy. You're like,
Are you solving puzzles still?
yeah, you do puzzles later, but in the beginning, it's mainly just like literally picking up trash was one of my first jobs. Like it's almost a Sims thing. It's just really mixing all of them together. And I didn't even know why I wanted to continue playing, but it's this little world, all these little characters, really fun little, inside jokes and stuff like that. And all these little places you go into, and you get better clothing. And the better clothing you have means you can go into other buildings, because like you have to have like a really good appearance to go into some buildings. It's so weird. I love it. And I have it here because I want to play it right now.
It's strange that it's not either its own game or like more prominent.
It should be. It's a full-fledged game.
Yeah.
It's a separate game, and I don't know how they had the time to stick it in there with the Professor Layton, which is a good game too. But so if you're thinking about like, you know what, I don't really want to stuff some puzzles. It's okay. Do get this game if you are a fan of RPGs, old school RPGs. And when you start it up, it says we do not use anything to do with styluses. Put it away. It's like A, B, and directional. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. Professor Layton. All right, we'll do a quick break, and then when we come back, we will talk about Double Fine.
You know what's even better than video games? Saving money.
Need new ink cartridges for your printer but don't want to pay outrageous prices? Then head over to 4inkjets.com. You'll save money over going to a store, and if you use our code, you'll save even more. Just use our code PAUSE and save 10% off any order, and if you spend more than $50, you'll get free shipping.
The code's right there. What are you doing? Save.
Welcome back to Press Pause. I was going to mention that what are you doing? You're not paying attention to the show.
So I'm loving this, right? Like you always have different montages for these shows,
yeah.
But like Saturn brings back such great memories for me, and it's like
You
every
want
other.
to just watch this and I'll do the show?
Yeah.
You're like, that'd be great.
I mean, I reviewed this game, Baku. I reviewed this game. I don't even remember what it was, but it's like maybe I did.
Quick, what did it get?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But yeah, it's such great times.
Hey, we try to give a little entertainment while we're talking, in case we're too boring.
Yeah.
Which can happen. I want to mention, Scott mentioned off camera that the RPG for Professor Layton is not in Europe. I don't get it. What did they do to piss him off? Something.
That's probably why they didn't make such a big deal out of it. It's like they made it, and then for some reason you can't put it out in Europe.
Probably,
and then
that sucks then. Well, I'm making a big deal of it. Go get it. All right, and I'm wearing this because it's silly. Let's talk about Double Fine. We went to an event last Friday, and we got to see 6 different things. Some which people knew about, some which people didn't. Let's talk about the thing that no one knew about, which was their new IP, which was called Double Fine Happy Action Theater.
Yeah,
What was this?
It's kind of cute because Tim Schafer, right, who runs Double Fine, he's a guy you always hear like he's the face of Double Fine. He's a funny guy. He's been there forever. And back he did all those adventure games back in the day.
Sweet games.
Funny guy. So he's kind of introducing this game to the crowd. And you could tell because they did the Sesame Street game, and you could tell like. When people become parents, like they, their kind of tastes in their how they're thinking about stuff and the way they view games kind of changes, right?
It's like their whole world.
Yeah.
Little person's their whole world. So.
And it's cool. I mean, I can't personally relate because I don't have kids, but it's cool to see. It's like, hey, I'm a dad now, and I see games differently. So he talked about where like this Kinect is like a great device. It removes the controller obstacle. Period. But he said, there's still a lot of traditional type games on there, meaning like, there's an end game, you can lose, you can die.
Yep.
And he said there's like little kids that's still difficult for them. So he wanted to remove that barrier, and he made this game, Double Fine, his team made this game to where it's just a bunch of different activities.
Yep.
They're not really games. It's just like for you to go mess around on
You
camera.
just do stuff. Like one's lava is on the ground, one's like a whole thing of balls that you kick around, and they do different things, they move.
Or one's like a little city, and it could be like Godzilla
like that
stomping and
one.
crushing a city, and like jets will be flying by and they're crashing and
What
stuff.
is it? Rampage. I thought of Rampage.
Yeah, kind of like Rampage or something Godzilla, right?
Yeah.
And
And the one I'm going to show you a video of, he did that one where he takes pictures of you.
yeah, so
That seemed pretty cool.
It's like a photo booth, right? It counts down, and then you pose, and then whatever's on the TV screen will freeze. And then what he did was, so he did showed himself.
We're showing it right now.
Okay, so he
punched
made himself
himself.
he made himself hump himself. He made himself kiss
Wait, he did the
himself.
humping thing too?
Kind of.
I don't think we have video of
kissing. Yeah, like so he made one where he's like lying, like almost like kind of back, and then the next picture of him was like hugging himself.
Oh, that's right,
So you had
that's
to
right,
pose yourself on the screen,
Yeah.
and then wait for it to flash, and then it takes that picture, and you could do it up to like five times, I believe.
Makes a cool sound too when it takes a picture.
So he like made like a chain of
Of him,
himself
yeah.
And on the screen. So and again, you don't lose. You just you play it and then you move on to the next activity.
What was interesting is it could handle more than one person. It seemed like better than some other games, because he was saying at the event, like, a bunch of little kids might be at your house. Like, it's not just entertaining one, it's entertaining a few,
Yeah.
So now you can all kind of go in front of it and it can kind of track multiple people as they destroy the city or whatever.
It's
So
kind of like
kinda fun.
the old, when the PlayStation camera came out, they had, I can't remember what the names of those games are. They did kind of similar.
yeah.
Like, but those are more games. Like
Yeah.
where there's a score and there's objectives.
Yep.
It's kind of like if you had those type of activities without the constraints of a scoring
Losing,
system and losing.
What was that
and
little guy that Sony had? Little iPad guy or little.
Yeah, that weird monkey.
Yeah, he doesn't lose. You just kind of.
Yeah.
Can he die? Maybe he
It's
dies.
like a game I don't think we would ever play, but it's
We
like
won't.
if you had like kids, like you could turn this thing on and it could be a babysitter for them. But what's great is like they're actually up and moving and more active than if they were sitting there passively with a
So
controller.
you're saying that Dan Shu says if you don't have a babysitter and you want to go out to a movie, you can just buy this game and just let him
lock the
sit in front of
doors,
it. Lock the doors.
place a bowl of potato chips on the
Yep,
floor.
maybe turn on the oven just for fun.
All your
Might
problems
as
will
well.
go away.
All problems will go away. Oh,
But
this is terrible.
I think it's probably a great babysitter.
It's a cool thing, but at the end of the day, let's be honest for half a second. New IP was kind of disappointed. If you're going to mention new IP and Double Fine, man, I want a Psychonauts 2 or something. We all want a little bit of.
That's not a new idea.
No, okay, so that did not make any sense what I just said. What I meant
I know.
is,
Well,
what
it's
I
not
mean.
like a hardcore game.
You know what I mean. I want a game.
Because I think probably you probably feel that way too because their last game was a Sesame Street game. So
Right, exactly. So I'm like, all right, okay. And now the next one, Tim, we're looking at you, please. Okay. Iron Brigade: Rise of the Martian Bear.
Oh, I will say something.
You
though,
will
though.
say something before.
So they got a room full of journalists playing this the party game.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people moving around, really active, and I think they need a little bit more ventilation or AC.
Oh, was it kind of raunchy in there?
It was a little.
I think I left
gamey,
quite quickly.
A little gamey.
Is that a thing now? You just made that. Okay.
It works, but
Scott, it is a thing? No, I know gamey, but that's like, it isn't like meat gamey? Not like gamey as in smells bad, because they're gamers. Gamey means gamers smell bad?
no.
Anything smells bad.
Oh, gamey means anything smells bad. Really? Learn something new every day. Iron Brigade: Rise of the Martian Bear. Our friend Brad worked on that,
Who was on the show?
who was on the show.
My Michigan football buddy.
Yes. And he is super cool, dude. And also, the game is a DLC for what used to be called another game, which I can't remember the name of it.
So
It was called something else.
So Double Fine.
No, we know it's a joke.
So when we got there, Tim Schafer and Brad, they're doing a presentation explaining this new DLC, and they kept doing that, right? They were like, they just would not say trench, but they would do it in a kind of.
Oh, you said it.
They would do it in fun. The thing is, I'm sorry, you spent a long time marketing that game to me. I played it as trench. I'm going to call it trench.
But the thing is, they're going to do a thing where you download it, you have to re-download it, and it becomes Iron Brigade.
Yeah.
So it will no longer be trenched in your library either.
And they give you some stuff with that update for free just to kind of make up for that fact. But the thing is, Iron Brigade, I don't know, it's a little bit more generic of a name.
It sounds more RTS-y almost, or like, more
Or like an old
soldiery
war game or something like that.
Well, the good news is the DLC is called Rise of the Martian Bear, and
Which
it
is a cool
involves
name. That's a cool
bear
name.
with a mustache and beard.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you got, something there. So thanks for showing us that. That looked really cool, and I'll play it.
Yeah, new maps, new stages, and I
bear.
think more importantly, new loot. I think that's probably more interesting. It's just like there's more guns. Because part of the fun in that game is like beating a stage and unlocking like all these new weapons
the
and
cool
trying to figure out
stuff.
how you're going to customize your mech. So
And there's a bear. Also, Custom Quest port to PC, which was interesting. And I was mentioning on the Daily Show, which again, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. There it is. When Custom Quest originally came out, it was so cool because it was on Halloween. And I was like, getting that Halloween feeling. I'm like, oh, candy. And then now this one's coming out for the PC on Halloween, basically.
Yep.
And they're going to include the ice thing, Ice Grubbins or whatever it's called. Grubbin was iced. Kind of the Christmassy type one they wanted to put in there.
Right.
They're going to include that in the pack, so it's $14.99 for both of them. The other things was Psychonauts for Mac, which, you know, can't go wrong with that.
That's cool. It's like,
There's no games for Mac anyhow, so.
yeah. I mean, it's an old game, though.
It is.
You know,
When did you play it last?
I played a little bit late, but even then, that was like many years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely got it at the tail end of the 360 era,
The
or the Xbox One era.
The humor always stands up for me though in that game. Like the gameplay is a little kind of like, oh, I get it, you know, but the humor, just walking around talking to people, that little guy with the antenna head or whatever.
I just like the
awesome.
design, the trippy
it's
worlds,
beautiful,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So speaking of the design, Psychonauts Vault Viewer was mentioned as well as a release for iOS devices, which is weird. So if you have an iPad or iOS iPhone, you can get this for free. And it's basically a slideshow of Psychonauts stuff with audio commentary by Tim Schafer.
So did you play with it?
No, I haven't tried it. I'm a Windows Phone 7 guy.
So it's funny, like to me, like Psychonauts. Obviously, you know, the hardcore guys. You know, a lot of us like hold that game in high regard.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was still that relevant today.
Right,
That
they make the
they
whole
could
thing
release
out of
a
it.
Mac thing. They could release this Vault Viewer. I'm like, wow, who'd thunk? You know,
Yeah.
that Psychonauts can still keep going today.
Maybe because why I, Freudian slip said Psychonauts 2 is because everybody still wants that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
Maybe.
Maybe that's why.
Wait a minute. Maybe they're preparing us.
Ooh.
They like for Psychonauts 2 to work out. We need to bring
does.
Psychonauts 1 to more
I'm not going to
people.
get hurt again. I'm not going to do it. You led me down that path. Damn you, didn't you? Last thing was, they just had Once Upon a Monster there.
Yeah, the Sesame Street game there.
People did this with it.
Cute.
Cute. So lots of cute stuff, but also Iron Brigade, which I'm actually excited about. Which, by the way, he should give us that. We should review it as soon as we can. And then Costume Quest. If you haven't played it, Costume Quest is great. So you can, and if you have a PC, you can get it now. So go get it. I think that's it. Anything else? Oh, what was I gonna say? Oh, the Double Fine has a website, and they have some Flash games on there. They're actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
So you should go check those out. There's one where you eat food. You just have a head and you eat food. Anything else going on, Danshu, you want to talk about? We good?
No. Well, you want to talk about? You're going to promote the next few shows.
Next few shows. So this whole thing about us talking about events and showing footage is cool. So we're going to continue that because we have a lot of shows to go to. So should we say where we're
We
going to?
have more events than we can actually cover here.
Yeah, we officially now are too much.
Maybe we'll like do a quick like 2 sentences like you want because like we're going to see Halo anniversary
And we
tomorrow.
saw Halo, and we said this, and we said that.
Halo
That's it.
anniversary, PlayStation Vita, Lord of the Rings.
Oh, so we can talk about that.
War
Yeah,
of the
next week we're
North.
doing the Lord of the
I
Rings.
hope so.
Oh,
too late now.
nice. Did I just put a black bar over your mouth? Let me see that.
Just a bunch of beeps. No, I think it's okay to say they're not new announcements. We're just gonna go check out these games.
The one thing that we can definitely say, and we want to tease, is that next week we're going to go to Gaijin Games. A friend of ours, Alex, is going to let us in and see some early stuff on Runner 2. And Runner 2 is obviously their new game. They have a development blog. It's really cool. They're kind of letting you in on the process. But now they're going to bring us in with the cameras, and we're going to see some other stuff that no one's seen before, ever.
And his studio is pretty cool. Like I kind of want to work for them, but take naps.
I don't
You'll
understand.
see when you go there. You'll see.
Okay.
I'll just kind of
I don't
tease before
understand.
that.
Hey, and can we say, can we do game? I say game and you say over, because I think that would like. Can we just try
Don't make
it?
me do that. Don't. Well,
Scott,
we'll try it.
Come on, let's try it. Game over. Perfect.